at 9:30 a.m. to Career Source, Citrus, Levy, Marion, and learn how they can help you.
All right, 19 minutes after 8 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in. 34 degrees in Atlanta, 8 degrees in Bridgeport, Connecticut. Look at these temperatures. 19 degrees in Milwaukee, Robin.
Gosh.
18 in Philadelphia, and here in Ocala, 50 degrees.
Mm-hmm.
The only one on this list that has us beat is L.A.
Yeah.
LA is like 60 or something like that right now. Believe it or not, it's not even daylight out there yet. Let's see. On the phone, Dr. Michael Foggs is on the phone. He's going to talk to us about asthma, some symptoms, and some new treatment options. Dr. Foggs is the chief of allergy and immunology at the Advocate Medical Group of Advocate Healthcare in Chicago, Illinois. Oh, I didn't look up the temperature in Chicago, but I'm guessing it's about the same as Milwaukee would be, right?
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, I think we're a little colder than you are, but...
yeah. Good morning, doctor.
Start with it. Good morning, Larry.
Yeah. Does the cold weather affect people with asthma? Does it affect the breathing?
Without question, cold air is a major trigger for heightening the expression of asthma and can, in fact, induce an asthma attack. And one of the things we like to do is prevent asthma attacks because asthma attacks can be fatal.
Oh, wow.
And there are some 26 million Americans that have asthma, over 300 million worldwide. And 5 to 10% of patients who have asthma that is uncontrolled. And one of the things I'm excited about is that we now have a new medication at our disposal that can be added on to patients' maintenance therapy if they fall within the group of uncontrolled asthma.
Oh, really?
Typically, yes.
Is it,
by the way,
is it inhalable, the new therapy, or is it a pill, or what is it?
Yeah, this medicine is an inhaled medication. It's called Spiriva, capital S-P-I-R-I-V-A, Respimat, capital R-E-S-P-I-M-A-T, and it's used once a day. And that's one of the convenient things about it. And it's a medicine that's added onto the patient's maintenance therapy with long-term control, anti-inflammatory medication already being on board, and their asthma is still uncontrolled on this regimen. Then we add Spiriva Respimat because the research has shown, which is why it was FDA approved, that the addition of this medication to properly selected patients' asthma medical regimen will in fact result in improvement in their asthma with less wheezing, less coughing, less chest tightness or chest discomfort, and less breathlessness, especially on exertion.
So maybe asthma will go away if you use this?
Well, unfortunately, asthma is not a curable disease at this point in time, so that there is no medicine that cures anyone of asthma. However, it's all about asthma control and whether or not one has any limitations on his or her lifestyle. The biggest problem with asthma in terms of quality of life is that when it is not well controlled or poorly controlled, it interferes with your activities of daily living. You can't sleep well, you can't work well or play well, and especially important in children, you cannot learn well when you can't breathe. The analogy of which would be taking a straw, putting it in your mouth, and attempting to carry out all of your daily activities by breathing through the straw alone.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that would be hard.
You can imagine that when the asthma is not well controlled, that quality of life that I just described, which is analogous to breathing through a straw, is unacceptable and making an individual very uncomfortable and putting major limitations on what that individual can do.
So does the medicine cause something to relax that previously had been constricted for some reason?
Exactly. And this is in the class of medications called bronchodilators, which means that the bronchial tubes are opened in response to the treatment. We also have other medications which suppress or wipe out inflammation in the lungs, and sometimes that in and of itself is insufficient to bring the asthma under control. And in those individuals, they immediately become a candidate for the use of Spiriva Respimat.
Can doctors tell when a little child has asthma, or does that come on all of a sudden and then the parent finds the child like turning blue and then rushes them to the hospital? Are there any telltale signs?
Fortunately, the scenario you described doesn't happen very commonly because we have the best track record for managing asthma in the United States than anywhere else in the world. But asthma is a pediatric problem, even though it can occur at any age. The onset of asthma frequently occurs during the first 5 years of life. And as a result of that, children can go undiagnosed. And for instance, here in Chicago, we have determined that up to 25 to 30% of the children in the inner cities have asthma, many of whom have asthma that has not been diagnosed.
Really? Is humidity a contributing factor? Would somebody with asthma do better off in Arizona than they might in Florida, for example?
Well, that used to be thought to be the case, but things have changed over time. At one point in time, Arizona was the place people were referred to relocate to.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
Now Arizona now has one of the highest morbidities and mortalities for asthma than any other.
Oh,
place.
really? So that was just something. That was something we believed, but it wasn't true, huh?
Well, what the limiting factor is that the changes that have taken place in Arizona have resulted in increased air pollution, especially in certain cities, and that has contributed to the heightened expression of asthma.
Is that what? Does asthma react to pollutants as an allergy? Is that how your two areas of expertise, allergies and immunologies?
Yeah, well, there are a variety of triggers for asthma. The number one reason for an asthma attack in the world is the acquisition of the common cold due to the rhinovirus. However, to your point, allergenic factors are also extremely commonly associated with asthma attacks, such as cat dander, dog dander, dust mites, mold spores, pollen exposure, rodent droppings, cockroaches. And then on top of that, we have all the pollutants that we're exposed to in urban areas in particular, such as petrochemicals and diesel fumes and ozone and sulfur dioxide and nitric acid. So there's no short list of potential aggravators of asthma that can induce an asthma attack, all the more reason to make sure that an individual has adequate control of the asthma, because you simply cannot avoid all of those triggers. And so for individuals whose asthma is not controlled on their current medical long-term anti-inflammatory medication, enter Spiriva Respimat, because based on the studies which resulted in its recent FDA approval, it has the ability to bring the asthma under control, and therefore patients have decreased limitations in their activities because of less wheezing, less coughing, less chest tightness, less shortness of breath.
And then people won't need to use their inhalers as much if they use Spiriva?
Well, if a person who has asthma that is uncontrolled takes measures to alleviate the symptoms, that will include the use of short-acting bronchodilators, such as albuterol, which open up the airways acutely. But unfortunately, that medication has no ability to control the asthma. So if a person's asthma is uncontrolled and they add on Spiriva Respimat as an add-on medication to their regular controller therapy, then they will definitely require less frequent use of the albuterol. And the less frequent use of the albuterol will be due to the fact that they don't need it nearly as much as they used to. And they will also have less asthma attacks. So while albuterol is a wonderful medication for alleviating acute symptoms associated with asthma, it has no ability whatsoever to control the asthma. And the more use of the albuterol, the worse the asthma, from the standpoint of the albuterol simply serving as an indicator that the asthma is not well controlled, which is why people use it so often. And that in and of itself is problematic, because overuse of albuterol can be very detrimental. And so that's the reason that we have these long-term controller therapies, which can bring the asthma under control. Less wheezing, less coughing, less shortness of breath, less chest tightness, better quality of life, and no major limitations in activity, and therefore very little use of albuterol.
Really good information.
That's the reason for these medications. Yes.
Doctor, we've got about a minute left for those who were trying to call in. I apologize for not taking the calls, but if there's a website, I think, that you can be directed to for the best information. Can you give us that website, Doctor?
Yes, I can, Larry. That website is www.spirivaasthma.com. That's very useful information and will introduce individuals to this product, which is a very useful product when used in properly selected patients.
Spiriva is spelled S as in Sam, P-I-R-I-V as in Victor A. Spiriva, and Robin will put that on our Facebook page to make it easier for everybody. Dr. Michael Fox, thank you so much. It's 22 degrees, by the way, in Chicago right now.
warming up a little bit.
Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you, Larry and Robin, for inviting me.
Good information. All right, we will take a break. Be right back.
Fox News Radio, I'm Pat O'Neill. Investigators have found no signs of foul play related to the death of Supreme Court Justice Antonin Scalia over the weekend, saying he died of natural causes at a West Texas ranch. George Van Etten, a consultant for that ranch, was one of the last people to see Scalia alive.
It was a very sober mood. We lost a great jurist and a great American.
Flags flying at half-staff at the White House and the Supreme Court. Much of the Northeast still in the midst of bitter cold.
We saw some record temperatures across parts of the Northeast, with them reaching well below zero. And of course, when you factored in the wind, those wind chill temperatures were even much worse. There was even a report of a wind chill temperature being as much as minus 114, and that was in parts of upstate New York.
Fox meteorologist Maria Molina says parts of the mid-Atlantic down to North Carolina could get several inches of snow starting later today. Fox News, we report, you decide.
Steven.
Who said that?
Me, down here.
Ugh, what are you, a yellow booger?
I'm a banana slug, Steven.
Well, what are you doing in my room?
I'm your sense of adventure. Don't you remember me? Don't you know that we miss you?
Miss me? Who misses me?
You know, all your friends in the forest. The trees, the pond, that little fort that you made out of branches. We all miss you.
Mom took me to the forest last year.
I'm a slug, Steven. It took me a long time to get here.
Oh, I guess that makes sense.
The forest is not that far away. Have an adventure today. I'm sure your mom would take you.
You're right. I should get out. I want to have fun. Play in puddles, catch frogs, and climb trees. Hey, Mom!
Yeah, hon? Steven, what is that in your hand?
It's my sense of adventure, Mom. It's telling me we need to get out of the house and have some fun in nature today.
Come to the forest where the more adventurous you lives. Check out discovertheforest.org for cool places nearby. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
Happy New Year and howdy, folks. Did you ever have someone get fresh with you? RL here to tell you what to do. Just get along down to Dairy Queen Silver Springs and keep your New Year's resolution to eat fresh. That's right, fresh garden salads topped with crunchy fried or grilled chicken, or a fresh banana shake, or a banana split. That's the kind of fresh folks like at Dairy Queen Silver Springs, where they always treat you like kings and queens.
Stay informed on everything going on in the Villages with the Village Spectator newspaper. The Village Spectator is exclusively devoted to the Villages with news, commentary, and more. And yes, they have Tom's Picks, a free referral for people who are looking for a company to do work for them. Tom's Picks will refer the company that fits your needs, and all we ask is that you tell them where you heard about them. Call Tom's Picks at 804-1223 and pick up your copy of the Village Spectator today.
Now read Ocala Downtown newspaper online.
Hi, this is Brad. I want to take a moment to talk about a serious issue. In the next 5 years, the aviation industry is projected to have a shortage of commercial pilots. Now is the time to start training. Ocala Flying Club has started a scholarship for the youth of Marion County ages 17 to 24. The club will donate up to $4,000 towards a pilot's license. This will help get the student on their way to obtaining their commercial pilot license. If this sounds like something you would be interested in, or if you know someone that would be, please contact Ocala Aviation Services, 861-7484.
Robin, let's try a little plant trivia. Name this nursery. It's a not-for-profit, and it teaches growing and caring for plants to their students.
Oh, that's easy. Kenny's Place.
Or how about this one? It's a nursery conveniently located between Ocala and Bellevue.
Again, it's Kenny's Place.
Or how about this one? A nursery with a wide variety of just what you need or want at the most reasonable prices.
Kenny's Place, of course.
Kenny's Place at 7677 Southeast 41st Court. Give them a call at 867-1213. It's a caring place for people and plants. It's Kenny's Place.
Gene Powell Pasture Mowing. Gene and Debbie would like to thank you for another successful year of business. We also want to wish everybody a safe, healthy, and prosperous 2016. We are ready to be of service with our pasture mowing. 352-629-2440. Locally owned and operated.